is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Little Miami Dolphins with the man, the myth, the legend that is Alain Poupart. How you doing, my man? Where are you at? You're at a mall?
I am at Ventura Mall because I need to get a new laptop to keep pounding those Dolphin stories.
Okay. All right. So you actually go to a mall? You didn't just go to like a Best Buy? So you don't have to walk in through a whole damn mall, or you're going to the Apple store?
I'm going to the Apple store.
Ah, there you go. You're a smart man. You're a Mac man. That's what it's all about. Ah, all these people walking around with these Androids. What the hell is wrong with them, dude? You got to go Mac, baby. That's what it's all about. All right, so talk to us. What do you think about this week? Should the Dolphin Nation feel good? We are 2-0 at Sports Grill on Bird Road. I just want to mention.
Yeah, I mean, this is the type of game where the Dolphins can't lose, right? I mean, the news that came out Wednesday morning that the Jets are going to go with Joe Flacco is not exactly anything that should change anybody's mind or feel Dolphins fans or make Dolphin fans feel any less confident, because obviously Joe Flacco started against the Dolphins in Week 6 last year, and if you remember, it was a 24-0 Dolphin win, and Joe Flacco looked flustered the entire game. And right. I still remember Emmanuel Ogba's 28-yard sack, which was completely crazy and nothing that we had ever seen from the Dolphins, for the Dolphins, I should say, because we saw it against the Dolphins in Super Bowl way back when. And then lo and behold, Jerome Baker did one better against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. But anyway, my point being that it's not Joe Flacco who's really going to make a difference. Logically, this is a game the Dolphins absolutely, positively should win, and win comfortably. Though, based on the way they've been this year, I'm sensing another Houston game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know about comfortably. I don't know if we could demand that from our Dolphins. I just want them to win the damn game. That's it. That's just win, dude. I don't care how you win. Just find a way to win. But I will say this, man. It's been a lot of fun watching that defense the last couple of weeks fly around. And I know the first week it wasn't that impressive because it was Houston. But watching what they did to corral Lamar all day long, that is a really difficult task to be able to do that. And that was really impressive.
Oh, no question. And I always go back, to me, the turnaround started the first half of the Buffalo game. I mean, they were handcuffing Josh Allen like nobody's business. And in the second half, you figured it out a little bit. I mean, nickel and dime with Cole Beasley the entire second half, and the Dolphins, couldn't stay with them for that second half. But you saw like a little bit of a turnaround. And in the last two games, the performance against Baltimore was outrageous, and it was completely flashbacks to 2020. That's how the Dolphins played defense all of last year. Now Josh Bohr is basically saying that you can't do that against everybody. Got to depend on the circumstances, the game plan, and all that. To me, they were so effective with it last year, and I don't necessarily recall them doing quite as often as they did against Baltimore. I mean, the heavy blitzing, but they did it a whole lot more than they were doing it for most of the first half of the season. And there's zero reason to me why they should stop being a very blitz-heavy defense.
Oh, there's zero reasons why you weren't this right from the get-go. That's the part I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? That's the part that's frustrating. Now, how about the development of young players now, especially the defensive players that are out there? Is Brandon Jones turning into a strong safety that we could feel comfortable? We know Javon Holland's turning into the free safety that you would the free safety I've been dreaming of for a long time. I know Minka was there and you could have been that guy, but what I'm saying is they haven't had that guy that can really play center field for a long time, and it looks like they finally found that guy. But Brandon Jones, what are you seeing from him at strong safety? Because there's no doubt I love his toughness that he brings to it.
Yeah, no question. And he's coming along, and the thing, he's always been a very, very good blitzer, even from last year. Yeah. That he's always done well. In fact, I remember him having a sack in the second game against the Jets last year at MetLife Stadium. And in fact, if I'm not mistaken, it stopped the Jets' first drive of the game, which produced a field goal, which was their only scoring drive of the game. So he's always shown that ability, and he's a very, very good tackler. The only question with Brandon Jones is how good can he be in coverage?
Right.
And even however heavy you're going to be with him in terms of blitzing, at some point he's still going to have to cover, and that's going to be the next step in his evolution. And if he develops in that, I mean, you have a safety tandem back there with him and Javon Holland that's got the potential to be really, really good for a long time.
Do you like what you're seeing now from Jalen Phillips? Because it looks like he's now starting to show up on the TV screen a little bit more now.
A little bit more. I'm still not seeing a dominant guy. I don't think he's anywhere near where he could become, but you see steady progress, which is obviously what you want to see. I'll give you another guy that I saw the last couple of weeks really, really pick up his game, who we hadn't seen all year, and that's Andrew Van Ginkel.
Yes.
I mean, he was awfully quiet those first 7-8 weeks, and then the last 2 weeks, I mean, he's been really, really good, and they're going to need all those guys down the stretch.
Is that because you've unleashed the Kraken and you finally brought out the amoeba and you finally brought out an aggressive package? Does that mean that you're now playing to the strengths of an Andrew Van Ginkel? Is that kind of what's falling into place?
Well, that's certainly part of it. There's no question about it. Yeah, I mean, Big O, I'm as baffled as you are as to why they kind of went away from what worked so well for them last year. I mean, they were so good on defense, and their whole formula last year was basically create turnovers on defense, be really good, red zone, third down, and then let the offense, contribute however they could. And down the stretch, it's going to be the same way. I'm still not expecting fireworks from this offense, but they don't have to. The defense can get back consistently to that 2020 level.
So let me ask you something. If we're watching some of the defensive players develop, except for Iggy, of course, but he doesn't play because of the two starters. And then on offense, we're still seeing the struggles of the O-linemen, but yet Gesicki and Waddle are doing just fine overall, considering the limitations of this offense. It's not their fault, obviously. Does it start to seem more like maybe the problem is still more coaching than anything else on this team, and especially on the offensive side of the ball?
Well, yeah, there's no question that's part of it. I'll be honest, and I don't know how feasible that is. I'd like for them to go out and hire a big name offensive line coach in the offseason. No offense to Lem Jean-Pierre. I mean, I don't know how feasible it would be to pry Bill Callahan away from Cleveland, but
pay his ass.
I would throw a lot of money at him. That's for sure.
Pay his ass. That's what I said this offseason. Either you fire Flo because you can't build a staff, and if you can't build a staff, you can't be a head coach in the NFL. I don't care what you are or whatever. If you can't find offensive coaches, he'll never be successful. So if you want to keep him, well then, dude, you better go out there and spend a boatload of money to find his coordinator and his offensive line coach. But he's also got to do his part and get along with the guy and let him do their jobs too. You know what I'm saying?
Nope, no question about it. The other part of it, though, if I'm being honest, is I'm not sure I'm ready to attribute all the struggles on the offensive line to the coaches only, because I'm seeing, for example, in Liam Eichenberg, I'm seeing a guy who's very, very limited athletically. I don't like the movement that I see from him for a left tackle, for a guy who played left tackle his entire career at Notre Dame and was so good at it.
What if I tell you a former offensive line coach, very successful offensive line coach, told me 2 weeks ago that they're playing Liam Eichenberg only because they have no choice. They trust no one at left tackle. But he told me Liam Eichenberg has zero business being a left tackle in the NFL. He says Liam Eichenberg is a right tackle in the NFL every day and twice on Sundays. Like, he gave me that kind of a conviction with the answer. He told me they must feel no one can play left tackle, so they're sacrificing the kid out at left tackle when he should be a right tackle. Your thoughts?
No, that's completely fair. I mean, and you can see it. He just doesn't have the elite athleticism that you see in a left tackle, for example, like a Laremy Tunsil, who the Dolphins once had, by the way.
Or believe it or not, Austin Jackson has the athleticism. He just doesn't have the fundamentals.
Yeah, I'm not sure I see a whole bunch of quickness in Austin Jackson, to be very honest with you. And he's right about they have no other option. I mean, Greg Little couldn't get active at all. I mean, so the Dolphin coaches saw him in practice every week. They had to tell you how bad was he, and now he got himself hurt in practice, and now he's on IR for 3 weeks. So even if anybody would think, hey, maybe that's a possibility at some point, no, that's not a possibility. And they don't have any other tackles on the roster. Everybody else is has moved inside to guard. I mean, Robert Hunt might be a fine tackle in the NFL, but he's also a right tackle. He's not a left tackle. So, no. And I go back to the 2021 draft when the Dolphins got cute with their trades of 3 to 12 to 6. Well, had they stayed at 12, they could have had Rashawn Slater at 12 and asked the people in L.A. just how good that guy's been. And they'll tell you to a man he's been outrageous.
Yeah, no, he has definitely been a monster. He's actually been better than the kid than Sewell. Actually, Sewell's actually been like this, in Detroit. But then again, it also may be, not the best coaching in Detroit also going on there. I'm just saying, it's just you got the ankle biter over there, and that rah crap doesn't really fly in the NFL very long.
That team plays hard, though.
They do play hard. They do play hard. I will say that they do play hard, and I believe they helped me win this past week because I took Detroit plus the points. I think they kept it close, right? I think it was right.
They tied the Steelers.
Right, that's right. They tied the Steelers, so they helped me win. They had 5.5 there. This week with Tua, do you see any changes? Anything that you can expect on offense, or we could expect on offense to change?
It's going to be same old. There'll be a couple of good throws, maybe a couple of shots downfield. They had some success with a jet sweep last week. I would expect them to run it a couple more times, and I don't know why they haven't run it more regularly. I know they did once with Jakeem Grant at one point, and he got blown up for like a 7-yard loss. They ran it last week with your friend Albert Wilson, and it was like a 14-yard pickup. To me, I don't know why they're not running it with Jalen Waddle. I mean, give the guy a chance to get some explosive plays. I mean, as opposed to becoming a possession receiver, which is why I mentioned the 2021 draft and the move from 12 to 6, where you surrender the first-round pick to get a guy who's basically Jarvis Landry.
Well, he's Jarvis Landry because of this offense, not because of anything else.
Have you seen him make anybody miss in the open field on a regular basis?
He plays in a phone booth the entire
understand
time.
That.
He doesn't get to play in space, so he can actually do some damage. If he actually had a line that could give him some time in a running game that was a threat, then all of a sudden I think you could do more things with Jalen Waddle. Yeah. And by the way, I think they're not doing the sweeps like you were talking about with Waddle, because the guy does everything else all the time. He's moving the chains for you on a consistent basis. They obviously can't trust anybody else to throw the ball to move the chains on a consistent basis, so they're throwing it to him and Gesicki. So I feel like they probably don't want to wear the damn kid out. He is coming off foot surgery. So it's like maybe you don't want to overload him. They're not even overloading him after they got rid of Jakeem on special teams. They're actually sharing that load too. You know what I'm saying? So I think they're also looking at it and going, hey, let's slow down. He's a rookie. We suck. Let's not put the burden of the world on Jalen Waddle. I think that's what's going on, actually.
No, okay, fair enough to a degree. But I look at him, and this very well may be premature evaluation, but I see nothing to me that suggests that at any point it's going to be a slam dunk for us to say, yeah, the Dolphins absolutely were right to move up, to sacrifice a first-round pick to get this guy at number 6. To me, again, it's the value with the position. At number 6, I want somebody who's going to be a lot more of a difference maker than that, whether it be on offense, whether it be an offensive lineman, whether it be a quarterback. For a wide receiver to be picked at 6, you better be changing games on a regular basis, like Jamar Chase is doing for the Bengals. I don't know. I don't necessarily see that with Waddle. Obviously, the circumstances are against him as a rookie now. I'm not sure we'll ever get to the point where I'll say, yeah, he was worth surrendering an extra first-round pick to move up to get.
I think Waddle and Gesicki would be much more explosive if they actually had a line, a real offensive coordinator, a real offensive line coach, and a running game. But I think some of those other places, like Cincinnati, they have a better line and probably a better running game too, and maybe even better coaching. Who knows? But I just think that some of these things, they're being complemented. Like I'm watching New England this past week. And Mac was awesome. I mean, he made one pass after another. But I also am watching, and he's dropping back, and he can scan the field, and he's got time, and and I'm going, damn. And when I was done, I was like, well, Tua can make all the same throws, but he doesn't have the same kind of time. So if you gave Tua the same time, the same offense, and the same coaching staff, I think Tua would make all the same kind of throws. And to me, it's kind of the same thing with Waddle and Gesicki. I think Waddle and Gesicki would be way better if they actually had the complementary things around them that were equal to them, in other words.
Except I don't think it's necessarily that black and white. I don't know that I go fix the offensive line, fix the running games, and Gesicki and Waddle are complete superstars. I think it's not 100% on the offensive line on a lack of a running game. I think that's kind of
on the O-line. It's on the O-line coach and the offensive coordinators too.
I understand that, and absolutely, without question, part of it is the other issues they have on offense. But to say that it's strictly like for example, let's not pretend that Mike Gesicki all of a sudden becomes Darren Waller or Travis Kelce if the Dolphins fix their other problems. And Jalen Waddle, while we can go by what he did at Alabama and expect him to become a complete stud in the NFL, if everything else is solved, we still need to see it.
I know, but we saw it in Alabama when he had the structure around him.
Yeah, except it's a different game. Alabama's not the NFL.
No, I know, but still, it usually translates those kind of guys. If Devonta Smith is making big plays, he'll make big plays in the NFL. But he's obviously needs to have and they have better coaching over there in Philadelphia, obviously, than they do here in Miami, at least on the offensive side of the ball. That's the part I just find absolutely screwed up. Did you feel like it was almost pulling teeth for Flo to actually say that Tua was starting?
That's a good question. That's a very good question, actually. No, I think the thing is, I mean, and he did his media session today, and he was very, very quick with his answers, and looked like he was not in a good mood. Something was going on, and I think, I don't know if he's getting pissed off that there's this this talk of this conspiracy theory that he's trying to hold Tua back, where he's trying to tell us he keeps.
Well, he hates them. He hates the kid.
Okay, Big O. He keeps. Here's my point was that he keeps bringing up the fact that he's got a fracture in his left finger, basically saying, people, get off my back. That's the reason I didn't want to start him, because he's got a fracture in his middle left finger. I was trying to keep him from banging his hand against the Baltimore defender the week before against the Houston defender, and felt we were okay with Brissett in there. And if Tua needed to play, he'd still be a better option than Jake Dolegala. I kind of get the feeling that's where he's going with that. I don't think. Do any of us really believe that if both Jacoby Brissett and Tua are 100% healthy, do any of us really believe that Tua's not the guy under those circumstances?
We don't. We believe. I don't know what he believes. That's he's treating him like Josh Rosen. And I get you treat Josh Rosen like Josh Rosen, but I don't believe you treat Tua. Look, to me, I talked about this on Monday. I've kind of come to the realization that I think the players believe in Tua. That's why we've caught a couple of players talking to Tua. The Marino situation that you saw with Tua on the field, which we've never seen Marino ever do that with any other player. I believe the players. I believe the front office. I believe everybody believes and likes Tua. I believe the only guy that doesn't like Tua in that building is Brian Flores. I think he's the guy that got off that train. And I think he's the guy that now is kind of understanding that, holy crap, I'm the only guy in this corner and everybody else is on the other side. And the fans are seeing that I'm Mr. Bias towards this guy on a consistent basis. And that's, and
I'm sorry, I'm not buying what you're selling right now. Sorry, not buying what you're selling. I don't. Okay. First of all, I don't think it's universal that everybody in the locker room truly has bought into Tua being the guy to lead this team to the playoffs. That's number one. Number two, the Marino thing was made for a very good Kodak moment. I've seen Marino talk to players before games.
Never like that.
On a regular basis.
Never. You've never seen them with that kind of a hug, the Italian tap on the face, like, kid, it ain't you. It's what's around you. You're not the problem. Just like a Landon Roberts.
Did you read lips?
You're not the problem.
That's what he was saying.
I'm telling you. I've just I have that magic. I'm just, it's a burden I have, Alan. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not buying. I'm not buying that it's Flores against Tua and it's Flores against the world and Tua. I'm not buying that for a second. I'm sorry. I don't believe that.
All right. Health-wise, are they getting anybody back this week? Do you expect it?
No. We asked specifically on Monday about Michael Dieter, Malcolm Brown, Will Fuller, all of whom are eligible to return. None of them are playing this week. Parker, I believe, is eligible next week. We haven't asked about him because he's going to basically say he's got one more week. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, none of those guys. And Brissett, I'm sure you're very concerned about the health of Jacoby's knee. You'll be happy to know Jacoby's fine. He'll be able to serve as a backup to Tua on Sunday.
He looked like he was fine when he actually did the drop back on the side of the field. Yep. After he got injured, he was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm solid. And then thank the Lord that, hey, no. We're going to stay with Tua. And so,
by the way, Big O, if Flo was so much against Tua, as you say, once the doctor told Jacoby, you can go back in there, Flo could have continued with his, I'm going to protect Tua again, against re-injuring his finger. Jacoby, you go back in there.
Or he came to his senses and said, shit, it's 6-3. Our offense sucks. Let me see if this kid can do something for us, because Jacoby isn't doing, because Jabroni isn't doing anything. You know what I'm saying? So maybe he came to his senses. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
Or maybe, maybe he heard the crowd scream for Tua and said, okay, I'm just going to piss these people off if I pull Tua now. It would have been a terrible look, by the way, if he would have gone back and pulled the kid off the field. Right? That would have been ugly.
Yeah. It would have been weird considering that you dressed the guy for a reason. It would have been weird.
Yeah. Now, make sure you talk to Tua this week. No eye paint. No war paint. Because he won. So he can't have war paint. All right? Just tell him. It's one of those things. They're
crosses, Big O. It's not war paint. They're crosses.
War paint, crosses.
And it was a night game. I don't know if that was part of it. It was a night game.
Okay, holy war crosses. Whatever they are, bro. Just no holy war crosses, because he won. We've got to keep things uniform, bro. It's superstition. That's what it's all about.
It's a good thing you're not superstitious.
No, not at all. Not at all. Follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL. Catch him here twice a week with the Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Insider Report. Alan, go get that laptop, baby. Appreciate you.
You got it. Talk to you Sunday.
There you go. There he is, the great Alain Poupart. Good stuff at our